This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition.
The customer complaint today is that this unit is not cooling at all. So when I first walked up, the thing is vibrating like no tomorrow. The whole thing is just rattling really bad, to the point that I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if this unit's out of refrigerant because of the vibration. That was weird. I opened this thing up and the compressor tried to start. Sitting there, blah, 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 blah. It's cold. It's really weird. All right, we need to get into the controls section. Like, you can even see the condenser fan motor still moving a little bit. But it was weird because it tried to start and it was like it didn't have good voltage or something. It was really chattering. All right, the contactor's really burnt. It's probably hard for you guys to see that, but it's really burnt in there, like it's been short cycling. But man, this thing is just really shaking. It's not good. Now I know that the indoor blower assembly is the cause of the vibration, but I don't want to shut the unit down just yet if I don't have to, because I want to check a few things. I want to make sure that we're not off on a safety limit, so I'm going to check between X and C. We got nothing. Okay. All right, and then we're going to go between R and C. Make sure we got a transformer's good, and then we're going to go between C and G. Obviously, we've got 24 volts to the indoor blower. It's like coming, yeah, there you go. And then we're going to go C as in Charlie, or common, to Y1. We have no call for cooling. We have no call for second stage cooling. So we don't have a call for cooling here. So something's going on, whether or not the thermostat's clicking it on and off. We'll go ahead and jump it out and make sure that we get a run here in a minute. But I can go ahead and shut it down now, and we're going to investigate the indoor blower motor. But I wanted to figure out, you know, what was causing it to run first. All right, we got an extremely loose belt. But if you notice, the blower motor is moving. Silly carrier brackets, they do this quite often where they get damaged. I don't see a crack yet, but it's just the integrity of the bracket's gone. So we know it's going to need a new motor bracket, possibly a new motor, because sometimes it'll break the weld. I'll have to investigate that. But I'm going to get a new belt on there. It doesn't look like there's anything stuck in the wheel, but it may be, you know, beyond repair. Once I get a tighter belt on there, it might vibrate even worse. So we'll see. See what happens when I turn it on. Actually, it's not as bad as all. I'm surprised. Okay, we're gonna put it back together. We're gonna at least try to get it running. We know we gotta order that motor bracket. I went ahead and ran a jumper from R to Y1, and the contactor pulled in, and then I think it tripped the breaker because it just kind of buzzed, and then it went all quiet and the indoor blower motor shut off. So I need to check the fuses, check for direct shorts to ground, and go from there. That is interesting. So let's check across the contactor. 208, and then run on up here to this, the other leg, 208, and then go from this leg to this leg, 208. So we still have three-phase voltage. I wonder if we blew the control fuse. Let's see, let's just go right here and go from C or common to R, and we've got no voltage. So we blew the control fuse. So I wonder if there's a problem with that contactor. I went ahead and turned off the disconnect, verified there was no voltage, and then came across this guy right here, and we have an open contactor coil. So, interesting. All right, we're gonna go ahead and replace that guy. I went ahead and replaced the contactor, and I didn't catch it on video, but I pushed in the contactor after I was done. The compressor started up, no problem. So I went ahead and swapped out the fuse and jumped out the unit, and it blew the fuse again. So what I'm gonna do, more than likely we've got an electrical short in here too. I don't know what caused it, which one came first. We're gonna go ahead and pull the top off this unit, because these units are notorious for having rubbed out wires in the economizer going over the blower. And this is a small unit, so I can pop the top real quick. When I get in here, the economizer's not even hooked up. It's already been jumped out. Let's look over here and see if we have any rub out points. Yep. Whether or not those are high voltage, I don't know, but we're just going to eliminate the economizer from the picture. And we might as well clean this unit since we have the top off. That condenser's pretty dirty. And I bet you it's pretty dirty down inside there on the split row too. So we'll go ahead and clean this unit up. All right, I went ahead and yanked all the wires out, pulled them all out here. I already got rid of a bunch of them. A bunch of them are just nuisance wires. It's really simple, actually. Just pull them all back, find out what's hooked up. One of them was going to common of the compressor lockout board. It's not needed. That was just the common for the economizer module. The other one was coming out of Y1, running through the economizer, coming back and going into here. So all that I did was eliminated that and ran a jumper from Y1 to the compressor lockout module or CLO board. And then what it does is it runs through the board and then goes into the pressure controls and then to the contactor. So that way, if a pressure control opens up, it locks out the voltage going to the contactor. So it's really not difficult to disconnect these things. Really nothing to them, to be honest with you. All right, I went ahead and pulled a bunch of crap out of the drain pan. There's still some stuff down there. All these leaves and everything were in there. Let's go ahead and give this guy a rinse. It's actually not as bad when I split it open. Not as bad as I thought it would be because it looked like it really hasn't ever been split before, but I'll get some cleaner on there too. But I mean, it's coming out pretty clean down in there. That's the tricky part, is right in there. Get down. All that stuff out. So what I'm going to do is get all the big stuff out of here, that big crap right there, and then we'll get some cleaner on it and go from there. That's probably really dirty right there. That's the nasty stuff. All these leaves that have been down there for who knows how long. Get all that crap out of there. There we go. Weird, all of a sudden this feels like hot water. Now it's cold now. Just because it was sitting out in the sun. Let's go have a look at the other side. Actually, we need to give this evaporator a rinse too. Get some water in there. Get it draining. That way the drain can kind of flush itself out. We'll do it a couple times. We'll put chemical on it too. Get it from this side. Like there's a leaf down in here. Who knows how leaves are getting in here? Oh yeah, and this guy. Alright, we're gonna get some chemical on this guy now. Just using my little hand sprayer today. It's not very bad, so don't see the need to get all the big guns out, and just needs a little bit on there just to top or to get in there. Spray some on the evap too. Some down in the drain pan. You want to be careful on the evap because this stuff will foam up. So and then it'll be hard to clear the drain. So you want to be careful about that. But if I could just get it down in the drain pan, that way it starts breaking apart some of the mud and gunk that's down there. That'll be good. Get it all over the copper too. This is a safe cleaner. This is just the yellow HD cleaner, so it's not going to hurt anything. So it just kind of cleans and shines everything up. Just letting the cleaner sit on there for a little bit and do its magic. Just about out on this one. Just let it work its way down into the drain pan. All right. We're going to get a little bit on this evaporator. See, that drain pan's already foaming up and I barely put any on there. You got to be careful because that stuff will overflow. It's already overflowing, see? But it's definitely coming out. So we're going to let it sit a little bit longer. The water will kind of help it, just misting it on there. Let it get in there and break anything down that it needs to break down. And then we'll get started on this condenser right here. So Kind of the same thing. Get it nice and wet. Let it rinse down. See it coming out nice and good. Oh yeah. Now that we got a foamy mess, you kind of think I probably put a little too much on there. Should have concentrated or diluted it down a bit more. It took a lot of work, but I was able to get down in there, even though it doesn't look great. I was able to get that drain pan completely cleared out. There's just some gunk stuck to the bottom of it. And back in here, all the way back in there, nice and clean. And the evaporator is about as clean as it's gonna get. All the foam's gone, so I'm gonna start putting this unit back together. Let's see if this guy blows the fuse again. I did not have a normal automotive style fuse. I was looking at one of the other units and I found a 10 amp. Someone's crazy. You don't ever put a bigger fuse in one of these units. It was just sitting as a spare. So yeah, I didn't have another one, but I do have a glass fuse, 5 amp glass fuse, and I have a little fuse holder right here. So I just threw that in there. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it'll work. You guys probably can't see that. This transformer's not tapped right. We have 208 volts, not 230. I'm gonna switch that over real quick. There's no voltage in here, so. Now it's tapped right. All right, fire this up. See what happens. Indoor blower's running. And I'm gonna jump out the compressor right now. Make sure nothing's shorting. Let's see if this thing blows the fuse again, or if it actually runs. There we go. It's actually running like it should be. Didn't blow the fuse. I threw my smart probes on there because I had a feeling the dryer was plugged up because it was sweating on top of the dryer. And what I did was I put my discharge probe on the bottom side of the dryer, and it's 76 degrees. And then liquid line temp on the top side of the dryer is 38 degrees. So we've got a plugged up dryer, and we're running, it's completely restricting the refrigerant flow. We barely got any refrigerant, 3 psi coming back because that dryer's plugged solid. You can actually see this dryer because the top of it's all sweating and then the bottom's not. So it's plugged. My concern though is that's an original OEM dryer. This unit has mineral oil in it. What would cause the dryer to plug up? I mean, I don't know. That's interesting. Okay. I was working on the kitchen AC today too, so I have my recovery machine and everything up here. So we're gonna recover the charge real quick and change out that dryer. All right. I'm gonna go get torches and start prepping that, grab a dryer. Recovery machine's running, so I'm weighing it as it's coming out so I know how much gas I pulled out of the system too. All right, now I didn't have the right size dryer, but I wanted to go bigger anyways, but all I had was a 1/2 inch, so I had to bush it down, but it's going to be longer, so I have to make some stuff work. So we're going to kind of repipe a few things on this real quick. All right, first off, we're going to make a bend just like that. In fact, I think I can go a little bit more than a 90, and I think that'll actually help me. So if I go something like that, yeah, that'll actually help me. Perfect. So then I'm going to swage this real quick. Okay, try not to burn myself. All the big stuff out of there. All right, so now, yeah, that's perfect. And then if we 90 it right there, if I can get it in there. Let's see if I can get this 90 close enough. Oh yeah, butter. Oh yeah. That's pretty. It's very pretty. Okay, so I gotta get that to slide on. All right, that'll work. And then I need to find out where I need to have these guys. So this guy's gonna go like that. Man, I wish I could cut that. I really should try to cut that a little bit. Let's see if this works. Bingo. Told you I'd win. Alright. How's about them apples? And then we gotta put that on there. Ooh. That busted. That's not good. Okay. So let's try this. That'll work. And then that'll get cut out right there. Let's see if that works. Almost perfect, man. That'll work. In like Flint, man. That's pretty. Alright, now the question is, we need to braze this real quick. So as that way it's done outside and we don't burn everything, because it's going to be a hard enough braze joint as it is. Looks like a good solid braze joint. Don't see no problems there. Kind of cool off that dryer. I didn't grab my heat blocking compound, so. Alright, this is going to be kind of tricky because on the bottom it's kind of damaged. So I'm hoping I can get it on without burning everything up. Alright, I burnt the dryer a little bit, but it's okay, it's no big deal. So it's a 16 cubic inch dryer, so it's an oversized dryer, spoiling catch-all. Hopefully it catches whatever. I don't know what plugged this other one up. I'm concerned, man. This was an 8 cubic inch dryer. I have to cut this guy apart and see what was going on inside of it. It's kind of heavy, so it's kind of scary. We're gonna get the vacuum pump running on it right now, and then we'll charge it back up. Currently pulling the vacuum. We're just about done. I've just been cleaning the unit up, putting condenser fan motor in, taking all my crap off the roof. You can see that's pretty much all the crap that I washed out of that coil, all that stuff. And then over here, all that stuff came out of there too, right over there. Anyway, so yeah, we're just about ready to start it up. I'm just gonna let the vacuum run for a little bit longer. It's currently at about 700 microns, so. All right, it's that time. Zero this guy out real quick. All right, we're ready to charge this guy up. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and open up this ball valve, and we're gonna go 9.5 pounds of refrigerant into the high side. We're gonna put new refrigerant in because I don't know what was wrong with the other stuff. The micron gauge can take positive pressure, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it off now that we've got positive pressure in there. And then I'll go ahead and put this guy right here. There we go. So now we can see system pressures. All right, we're just charging it up. 9.5 pounds of refrigerant. Once we get there, we'll start it up and hope that there's no other issues. Well, crap. Look at that startup. Weighed in the factory charge and everything, and we're still running low suction pressure, low saturation temperature. I'm starting to wonder if, like, I don't know, is the condenser logged with oil? There's no way that new dryer's plugged up already. We're gonna let it run for a bit and see if it stabilizes out. There's something going on here. So it's not in the liquid dryer, liquid line filter dryer, because I had an 89 degree coming out of the condenser temperature, and then I reclamped it going into the metering device, and it's 89 degrees too. So there's no pressure or temperature drop across the liquid line filter dryer. As the system's running a little bit longer, my pressures are stabilizing out. I'm kind of wondering if we're logged with oil. What I'm actually gonna do is disconnect the condenser fan motor for a little while, try to build up the system pressure, and maybe remove that restriction, whatever it is. Maybe if it is oil. Let's come on over here. See if we can remove this condenser fan motor wire. going to let the pressures drive up. See if we can push anything through the system. And then I'll turn it back on here in a minute. That's a good sign. It's running good. Okay. Go ahead and turn it off. Go ahead and put this guy back on here. And we can go ahead and turn it back on. Alright, we're going to let it run for a little bit to see how it reacts. Well, we're still running low pressures, but at least we're above freezing now. They've definitely got a restriction in the metering device, for sure. So I don't know what was plugging up the liquid line filter dryer, whatever it was restricting that metering device too. I'm going to let the unit run for a little bit longer, but this is another one that the customer, they told me they are not replacing this unit and to do whatever I had to do to get it operational. So just like I did with that kitchen AC over there, I'm just polishing a turd, doing the best I can. So we're going to let this run for a bit. I'm going to start cleaning up my stuff. I'm not really going to do too much more with this bad boy.
They don't always end up easy. You don't always end up fixing all the problems. In this situation, it was kind of one of those one thing after another, right? You know, in the end, the unit still has a restriction in it. And I kicked myself in the butt because I saved that liquid line filter dryer so I could cut it open, and I threw it away without thinking about it. Kicked myself in the butt because I wanted to cut that thing open, but I literally was editing down this video and I went out to my van to go get it so I can cut it open, and I'm like, oh no, I remember handing it to someone and asking them to throw it away. Not even thinking straight. But the unit still has a restriction in it though. Ironically, we had good BTUs delivered and we had good airflow, and the unit had a good TD, but it had a restricted metering device. So I basically told the customer, hey, the unit's operating as best as possible. I told them they're going to need to change the metering device, and on a unit that age, I said I really don't recommend changing the metering device. It's a little 5-ton. Like, let's just replace the unit. They don't want to do that right now, so they are just going to let it run like this. And I told them, I said, look, you know, I called the facilities department and just said this compressor is not going to last another summer. You know, with the superheat really high the way that it was, with low refrigerant coming back, you know, it's going to burn that compressor up. The compressor is going to take a dump. But it got them going. You know, it's the best we could do. Some people have asked me, you know, how come I do all that stuff and then, you know, we find out something else is wrong? You know, you can't assume that every job is going to be a disaster. You know, in that situation, I had to go through the troubleshooting steps, and I went ahead and cleaned the unit up because I had the top off the unit. So, you know, had I put the unit back together, sure, I would have noticed that it had a restriction, and maybe I would have said, you know what, it's not worth cleaning it up. But that would have been a waste of time. What happens if there wasn't a restriction? And then I said, oh, you know what? I got to pull it back apart to clean it. Like, you know, so you just got to kind of do things in steps, and you run into the problems you run into. I have a feeling that the compressor contactor died because the unit was shutting on and off on loss of charge switch. Now, that unit doesn't have a low pressure control, but it has a loss of charge switch on the liquid line. And depending, I'm thinking, yeah, I think it was after the dryer. Yeah, so eventually it would have shut off on the loss of charge switch and then turned on, turned off, turned on, turned off, and I think that's what burned up the contactor. So got the unit back together. It's operating as best as possible with what it is, and, you know, sometimes they can't be perfect repairs. You know, it is what it is. I really, really appreciate you guys making it to the end of this video. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel. It really helps. There's an interesting metric that I can see within YouTube, and it's something like 57% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed to my channel. That's a trip too, because I have a crap ton of subscribers. So to think that 57% of you guys are not subscribed, so please go hit that subscription button, hit the notification bell. That way you know when I go live on YouTube and stuff, and it helps out the channel. Okay, give the video a thumbs up, that kind of stuff, you know. Please consider supporting the channel if you haven't already. There's a couple different ways you can do so. Just leave me a comment. That's one of the really cool ways to support it. Give me a thumbs up on the channel. If you're interested, you guys can support me via Patreon. You can support me via YouTube channel memberships. You can also, if you're interested in purchasing any tools, you guys can go to truetech.tools.com. If you like their pricing and what they have, you can use my offer code BIGPICTURE, one word, on checkout. It'll save you 8% on your order. If you guys know what you're going to purchase from TrueTech Tools, shoot me over an email and I can generate an affiliate link that'll help me out even a little bit more. All right, but you guys still save your 8%, doesn't cost you anything extra. You can also go to my website, hvacrvideos.com, and I have merch available. Soon to be new merch available, so stay tuned for that. All right, really, really appreciate you guys. I go live Monday evenings, 5 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, where I do like a Q&A, discuss these videos, answer questions live in the chat. And then also I go live on the HVAC Overtime YouTube channel with my buddies on Friday evenings. So that's on the HVAC Overtime YouTube channel. You guys can check that out too. Okay. Really, really appreciate it. And we will catch you guys on the next one.